Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're new to the channel. Today we are back with another speed build, and we are building some apartments in the town of Newcrest on the lot of Midtown Meadows as a part of my Rebuilding Newcrest series. Now for some of you, this is probably not a surprise at all, as I've been talking about building these apartments for quite a few videos now. I definitely said that in my last video, my next build would be some apartments on this lot, and I finally got around to figuring out what I wanted to do, and I finally built it. I used a reference picture for this particular build, and I will do my best to remember to put the reference image up in the corner so that you guys can see kind of what I was going off of. And you'll probably notice that it is not an exact replica, because exact replicas never work out in The Sims 4, just with all the limitations we have in the game. But nonetheless, I think it came out really well, and I'm super proud of this build. And this is actually well, it's not my first apartment build, but it is my first time building apartments for Newcrest, and I'm super excited with it and super proud of it. And I hope you guys enjoy the build. It is a little bit of a shorter video today, as this video we are only building the exterior and surrounding grounds of the build, but in future videos I will be doing all of the interiors, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let me talk a little bit about what I'm doing right now, and that is basically just figuring out the wallpapering for the exterior and kind of the vibe that I wanted to go for. And I went with a mostly brick exterior. I believe that the brick I used is from either base game or city living, and you'll see initially that I was trying to go for some wood paneling for most of the exterior, and that is because I was really kind of against initially I was against using all brick, because I just thought that would be just a little bit boring to look at. But in the end, I decided to go for brick on the first 2 floors and then this wood paneling on the 3rd floor. And I decided to do that because it's a little bit more realistic, honestly. Like, most apartments like this are, mostly brick anyways, but I do end up sprucing up the build a little bit, and you'll see that when I add decorations and just other things to the build that make it seem just a little bit less boring overall. Now, before we get too deep into the rest of the build, I want to talk a little bit about what I've been watching recently, as that is a constant staple on this channel by now, and I just love keeping you guys updated on what I'm watching. But I have finally finished watching Secret Life of the American Teenager. It took me so long. Those seasons, as much as I complain about how long it took me, I really do miss the times when seasons were 20-25 episodes long, because I don't know, I just really miss that time when episodes, meant something, and we got filler episodes, stuff like that. But I'm glad that I finished it, because while the ending was a good ending to the show, I believe, but it was just a really long trek. But I'm glad I finished it, finally saw what happened to all the characters. I think it ended on a pretty decent note, and I have no complaints there. But as far as other shows, I am still watching True Blood, as that is just one of me and my sister's favorite show to watch, especially during fall time and near Halloween. And we are on the 2nd season right now, which is probably one of my favorite seasons. I said in my last video, season 4 is definitely my favorite, but season 2 is also up there. It's just a really good, there's so much, the show goes completely insane, and it's completely wild. But I love watching that show during fall time. It's bringing back a lot of good memories for me, even though I should not have been watching that show as young as I was. But as far as movies, I've still been on my Shailene Woodley binge. So I watched Divergent last time, as I mentioned, so I thought it was only fitting for me to complete the Divergent series and watch Insurgent and Allegiant I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not completely paying attention when I was watching Allegiant just because it's probably my least favorite of the Divergent movies, but surprisingly that's also the only Divergent movie that I saw in theaters when it came out. And yeah, I was really I think I do like the Insurgent movie, honestly. Like, I wasn't sure how I would feel about it before watching it, just because it's been a while. But that movie is actually not that bad. Like, it's definitely a meme now with Shailene Woodley's, like, screaming or, like, yelling whenever she's, like, when she's, like, in the simulation and, like, jumping, like, buildings or whatever. Definitely a meme. But it's quite entertaining, and honestly, I don't know if I like it more than the first movie. I think I do like it more than the first Divergent movie. I feel like that's kind of an unpopular opinion, at least from what I read on Letterboxd, because no one really seems to like that movie. But I particularly enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm finally finished with that. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna watch next now. So definitely give me some recommendations in the comments, and I will do my best to watch those. But per usual, my letterbox and serialize will be in the description along with all my other socials. That way, if you guys are interested on my thoughts about what I'm watching, or you just want to see what I'm watching in general, you can find them down there. But anyway, let me talk a little bit more about what I'm actually doing to the build. And I pretty much talked over me doing like most of the windows and doors situations, and you'll see I used pretty much all windows from the Moschino stuff pack. I thought they were quite fitting. They give the build a little bit of a more slightly modern feel, but also like kind of that industrial vibe, which I wasn't initially going for, but I thought it fit pretty well. And I think whoever is going to be living here will enjoy all the lighting and big window space that they will be getting with this apartment. I also kind of laid out the back area space. I didn't finish it, but we will go back to it later in the build, and you'll see, I can't remember if I placed like the pull down yet, but I eventually move it, and the backyard, or like backspace, I don't really know what to call it, like the shared community space, I guess, ends up being really nice. I'll talk a little bit more about it when I actually start doing it, but right now I am placing a mailbox and an apartment like community board, and I actually end up moving it to put the mailbox stays the same, but the community board I actually move over just a little bit because I end up putting washers and dryers in that little like inlet space. But nonetheless, I'm doing like this little kind of like lobby area, I guess, like this place that you would get into before actually getting into your apartment. And I have like this nice little open staircase, which I really was happy with putting down. And yeah, I really do like this apartment. I don't really build apartments that often, so this was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I really do enjoy like the layout and all that. And for the backyard area, which I'm finally moving on to now, we have this fence that I use from Get to Work, which I think is like supposed to be used for like jails or prisons or something, but I thought it was a nice way to keep this space pretty confined and, you know, minimize unwanted visitors, stuff like that. But we do also have like a backdoor area for here for your Sims if they ever want to leave back this space. And you'll see I just placed down a pool, but I do end up moving that to the other side of the community area, and I'm not doing that now, but I end up doing it eventually. But right now I'm working on just like some of the like patio spaces, putting down some brick, and also on the roofing as well for the patio. And I'm trying to figure out how I want like kind of the front area to be or look like. I used these trees from City Living, and I thought they looked so nice. I really don't get a chance to use them as often as I would like to, because I feel like they work best for like community lots, stuff like that, but I don't really build community lots very often. But they worked for this apartment area quite nicely, so I decided to use them. I used this fence, or not fence, like this little sign that we got from Cats and Dogs, and then I put this like little writing that we got from high school years on that. And then I also used the for rent sign that we got with for rent, and I put that up there as well to make it seem like some of these apartments are open. But I am doing a little bit more landscaping now, adding some trees, and I think eventually I put down some bushes. Yes, I use these bushes that are from base game and size them down a little bit. That way they fit in between these windows. And eventually I also put some grass in between there, but right now I think I'm just working on the front of the building to add some bushes, things like that, make it seem just a little bit more landscaped and put together. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about some like Sims news, I guess, because today is actually, I'm not sure if I will be uploading this like the day I'm doing this voiceover or maybe the day after, but today for me is actually the first day of the Reaper Rewards event. It's kind of a tongue twister for me, but yeah, I'm really excited to see like how that goes out and like if there's any like glitches or bugs or anything. I hope there's not, because you never know with the Sims team. But I'm honestly kind of excited because usually with these rewards event, we've only had one before, but with the one before we got like some pretty neat items, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I know with this one it's going to be slightly different because you have to, instead of actually logging in, you have to actually like play the game and do like some tasks. So I don't know exactly how well that's going to transfer over, but nonetheless I am really excited for those new items. And yeah, I'm a little bit intrigued, but also slightly hesitant because like I do love playing I do like playing actual gameplay in The Sims 4. I haven't been able to do it as often recently just because I've been doing a lot of building recently, but I wonder how that's just gonna work out and how it's gonna translate. But nonetheless, I am kind of excited, and yeah, I'm also kind of excited about the new expansion pack that we have coming out, the Life and Death expansion pack. I don't really know what it's going to entail or what we're going to be, like what the new like gameplay items or build items are going to be. So yeah, I will be getting the pack as soon as it comes out. I definitely won't be getting early access just because I'm a smaller YouTuber. Like I'm literally just starting out. But as soon as the pack comes out for everybody, expect some builds featuring that pack. And I'm not sure if we're getting a new world, but if we are, expect some builds in the new world as well. So just keep an eye out for that. Make sure you are subscribed if you are interested. But anyways, now I am figuring out kind of the front of the build. You'll see that I added that the same like wording that I used for the sign up on the front, like on the top of the build. And that is just because initially I was going to go for like this little like decoration piece that we got from the Castle Estate kit, but I figured that the sign that I used for the front worked just a little bit better and probably fit a bit better. And yeah, I decided to use that. I'm still doing a little bit more landscaping now, adding some more grass and flowers and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if what I move on to next. I think I move on to the backyard space, but right now I'm just doing some more terrain paint. You'll also might have noticed that I added some like security cameras on the front, and I thought that was quite a realistic touch. I wanted to make this place like seem just as not boring as I could, because you know we have a lot of brick and it can be kind of hard to like make things look like less boring, I guess. I'm using a lot of the word boring today, but anyways, I just wanted to make it seem, you know, kind of realistic, because I feel like most apartments, or at least nice apartments, have, you know, some security cameras, you know, to make sure that, you know, no one's doing anything that they shouldn't, stuff like that. But now I am finally moving on into the backyard space. I add like a couple of grills, and I use the grills that I believe came with, oh, I actually don't know. I feel like they came with for rent, but they might have also came with growing together. So I will do my best to remember for future builds where exactly I got the items from. But we also have this like community garden space in the back as well. I thought that was a nice little addition, you know, for your Sims if they ever wanted to get some gardening done. And then I also moved this pool over to the side, and then I used this nice pavement that we got with the Greenhouse Haven kit. And then I used this pool trim from the Riviera Retreat kit. And yeah, lots of kits in this build. This is definitely not a pack restricted build by any means. I do apologize for that, but I did buy all of these packs myself, and I do want to get as much use out of them as I possibly can. So yeah, I use these lights from the toddler stuff pack above the grill area, and I also added some seating as from the toddler stuff pack as well. But these chairs that I put next to the pool are from base game, but these umbrellas are from Seasons, and I thought that was pretty nice. I added, I think, a fire pit in between those chairs from the Riviera Retreat kit. And then I use a bunch of these like flower tree or like trees in these pots that are from the Riviera Retreat kit as well. I initially was just gonna put them outside, but then you'll see me add them like a lot on the inside as well, mainly next to like the doors, just for like some extra decoration. And then I changed the inside of the pool. I think the bottom is from Riviera Retreat. And yeah, I'm adding a bunch of these rocks, lots of Riviera Retreat out here, because we had like this space next to the pool up against like this fencing, and I thought it looked a little bit plain, just like not having anything up there, and I honestly wasn't sure what to put there, but I thought these rocks were really nice. And then eventually I put like the little rocks that have like the waterfall on them, and I thought that looked super good. And I've used those only once before in one of my other builds, and I think it was the villa, like the Mediterranean villa that I built, like maybe, I think it was like 3 or maybe a month ago. But yeah, I really like those. They're a little bit more modern, but you know, I figured like it just looked really nice. And then I ended up switching the terrain paint that I initially had to the Space Game one, because it's actually a new terrain paint, and you know, I thought it looked really nice, so I decided to add that. But I'm just doing a little bit more terrain paint for this, like garden space, making it look a little bit more, like lived in, or not lived in, but a little bit more realistic, I suppose. And then I'm trying to figure out the lighting situation for this like pool area. I don't think I actually keep anything, because it was just, all the lights were just not really fitting the vibe that I wanted, so. But anyways, now I'm trying to figure out, you see that we have like quite a big like area on the left side of the build, and I really was not sure what I wanted to put there, because it is connected to the sidewalk, and I knew I wanted to put something. But eventually I do decide on putting like a dog park for your Sims who have any pets, or dogs specifically. And I thought that was a really nice addition, because I feel like, you know, most nicer apartments usually offer a dog park, or a space at least for your dogs to roam free. And I'm not doing that now though. Right now I am actually working on the floor plan for the apartments. And I just, none of these are, I'm not sure if any of these are actually going to stay when I do, like when I end up actually furnishing these apartments for my future videos, but I wanted to make sure that I had something at least laid out for you guys, because I do plan to upload just this version, the exterior and the grounds. I'm gonna upload just this version for you guys if you know, wanted to like make this for just how do I put this? If you wanted to, you know, make this, or like put your Sims in here and like furnish it your own way, because I know some people like to do that, and you know, not everyone, you know, plays the Sims the way I play the Sims, or likes, I know not everyone specifically likes the way I furnish things, but you know, maybe you like the apartment itself and you just want to put this in your world. So I wanted to put just a little bit of a floor plan, that way you guys have some semblance of like what this apartment could look like for your Sims. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've gone like almost at the end of the video and I haven't even mentioned how many units there are. But anyways, there are 3 floors of course, and 2 units on each floor, so that makes a total of 6 units. And there are, on the first 2 floors, there's not really a lot of space for the units, so it's probably only, you're probably only going to be able to fit like 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and that's what I floor plan them for. Okay. Anyways, but on the top floor, it's kind of more of like a dual penthouse situation. So you're able, like, it's much bigger, so you're able to, I was able to fit like 2 bedrooms and possibly 2 bathrooms up there as well. But yeah, I'm really excited about that. I already have like some ideas for kind of the tenants who will be living here. Like, I'm thinking like maybe on like, there's probably going to be like a cat lady and like a dog person, and they probably don't get along well just because their animals aren't very fond of each other. But then I'm like thinking on the penthouse, it's like it's a little bit bigger, like maybe it's like a single mom and a single dad, and you know, they like they're not really looking for anything, but like their next door neighbor is like literally like their soulmate. But I don't know, just some ideas. But I'm super excited to start furnishing these, and you guys can definitely expect those in my next video. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon if you want to be notified when I post those. It should be fairly soon because, you know, apartments don't typically take me that long to furnish, and I should be doing like each apartment in its own separate video. But right now I'm trying to add some doors. Initially I was going to use these doors from Get Together, but I just thought they were a little bit too like rustic and they didn't really fit the build. But on the top floor, I end up adding these doors that we got from Dream Home Decorator, and then on the bottom 2 floors, I end up using the new doors that we got from the Love Struck expansion pack. And yeah, I was really happy with that. You know, it's a little bit smaller down there, but I'm honestly kind of happier with like smaller apartments. I feel like they're a little bit more realistic. I lived in a smaller apartment for most of my adult years so far, but now I am kind of moving on to the dog park area, and you'll see I initially wanted to use the debug fencing that we got from base game, and it just didn't work out because I had trouble enclosing the space, because I thought, you know, you definitely don't want, like, this is definitely a space where your dogs are gonna run and like play, and you know, you don't want them to get confused and like accidentally run out into the sidewalk and just run away. But I eventually switched them out for a different fencing, and also they just didn't line up correctly. Like, you'll see here, it's just like not lined up correctly at all. And I was gonna use this archway, and then I was like, no, like your dogs are definitely gonna run out, and it's just gonna be a whole fiasco. So I eventually switched them out for this horse ranch fencing. I thought that looked a little bit better. Might not fit the build like completely, but I thought it was a little bit more realistic, and it looks a lot better. And I use the same fence gate from Horse Ranch, and then I fill in like a bunch of obstacles and toys for your dogs to use out here. And then I think my favorite thing out here in this park is probably the fire hydrant, because it's just so stereotypical that your dog, you know, would use a restroom near a fire hydrant. Just a little nod there, little funny. But I add a bunch of grass out here to make it seem a little bit more like overgrown, I suppose. And then I was going to use these fairy lights from the toddler stuff pack, but the way, like, the dimensions of this area, it was just not working, so I ended up using these base game lanterns and then posting them up on like each little post to light up the area for the nighttime. But I think the only other things I add is I add a seating area on the like front porch area, for your Sims to just chill out and relax in. And then I also go in and then add like a bunch of like doormats in front of all the doors. But I'm just doing a little bit more landscaping right now, adding some more trees, fixing this staircase because it kept going up for some reason. And I think it was because of the platforms that I raised up. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this build, guys. We finally made it to the end of this video. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you watched to the end, you guys deserve a cookie, because this was probably not the most interesting thing to watch me build, just the apartment. But I promise that the apartment renovations on the interiors will be a lot more interesting. There'll be a lot more decorations going on in there, but stay tuned for that. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified for those, or just subscribe if you want to catch my future content or support the channel in general. But be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Always lets me know that you guys are enjoying my content. But anyways, thank you so very much for watching. This build is available on the gallery now under my gallery ID, JKenYT, which is spelled JAYKENYT. KENYT, and it is also under the hashtag with the same spelling. But thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my very next video. Bye bye.